Overcoming myths and objections. The owner is remote, both physically and mentally. There's no secret with this globalized economy that lots of property owners and managers are in different states, different countries, maybe even on the other side of the world. The fact of the matter, though, is that if you take a look at it, winning sales strategies and tactics know no borders. Professional sales strategies and tactics prevail as long as you use concise and compelling communication. Okay, so what am I talking about? Well, for one thing, you want to use segment-specific benefits. You want to understand how to connect the dots. So when you do get a message, however short, in front of this remote decision maker, they realize that it's an important missive they need to look at. Similarly, you use these sound bites to capture an overworked, understaffed, remote decision maker and snap them into attention when they may be distracted by other business issues elsewhere in the world. I think when you use elevator pitches and one-page proposals that evoke emotional responses, you definitely stack the deck in your favor. The elevator pitch itself is 15 seconds or less, how you will create value for me. And we talk about that in other lessons here in the Selling in 6 program. The one-page proposal is just a wonderful device to make sure that in 4 minutes or less you can evoke an emotional response and let a person know why they need to make an improvement. And it doesn't matter whether that person reads that one-page proposal sitting in front of you at your desk or in some faraway country. Using one-page financial analyses that allow decision makers to justify their decisions. Again, it doesn't matter where the person's sitting. They're going to see all the cash inflows and outflows. They're going to want to see the variables that matter, the metrics that matter. If you can prove that your thing has a very positive net present value, a very attractive saves to invest ratio, a very attractive modified internal rate of return, sometimes called adjusted internal rate of return, it doesn't matter where that decision maker's sitting. If you have a nice one-page, blank on the back, no surprises financial analysis, you're going to get that person's attention. And another way to look at this is the success stories. I mean, if you have success stories that build confidence, they can also help you shorten due diligence periods, because the more people realize that what you are proposing has been done successfully by others that look a lot like them, the less likely they're going to say, you know what, that building's out of state. I'm not going to be there for another 6 months. I don't want to pull the trigger on something I'm not quite sure about. And of course, there are lots of other strategies and tactics that know no borders. And frankly, this Selling in 6 program was created to educate people around the world in English-speaking countries and soon subtitled in foreign languages how to advance their proposals in compelling ways, convincing ways, persuasive ways to get the job done no matter where they happen to be sitting, where the prospects building is sitting, where the decision maker is sitting in the world. I have a great story to share with you on an example of a remote ownership issue that had basically hogtied a energy efficiency decision-making event much too long. One of our boot camp attendees a couple of years ago was with me in San Diego, California. He was representing a very high efficiency boiler, stainless steel, high efficiency components, and he was trying to sell a $100,000 version of his equipment to a 5-star hotel here in the Bay Area who had just had his boiler fail. Now, if the boiler had been replaced like for like to be similar to the one that failed, they would be spending about $80,000 parts and labor. His proposal was $100,000, and he had sent a proposal to that effect about 4 months ago, 4 months prior to the boot camp. He was tearing his hair out because they hadn't made the decision. He did confess that the owner of the hotel was out of state. He hadn't been able to talk to the owner directly. He was just mesmerized by the fact that they had been spending $7,000 a month to rent a temporary boiler. That's 4 months times $7,000 a month, or $28,000, while they figured whether or not they wanted to pull the trigger on a boiler that was $20,000 more expensive than a like-for-like replacement. Go figure. It's crazy talk, right? So he was beside himself. He said, what am I going to do with these people? I said, listen, calm down, take a deep breath. Tonight, when you get back to your hotel, because we have another day of the boot camp tomorrow, why don't you think about 6 or 7 reasons, even 4 or 5 reasons that they absolutely need to say yes to your more expensive premium efficiency boiler. And then come back tomorrow morning early, like before breakfast, and I'll work with you on that. We'll fine tune it. We'll send it over there and we'll see what happens. So he did that. He went home and he came up with 6 good reasons that they should do the more expensive premium efficiency boiler. Reasons like, think about it. Everything you earn, practically everything you earn in this luxury hotel has something to do with hot water or steam. You got the pool, the spa, massage therapy, the hot tubs, all this stuff, the steam room. You need a boiler that works. Otherwise, a lot of your menu of, a large portion of your menu of spa services goes down the drain, literally. Secondly, what image do you give a customer who just paid $500 a night, pulls up to your hotel for their honeymoon, and sees portable boiler equipment out in the parking lot with this big space station tube going into the side of your boiler room? Crazy talk, right? Thirdly, what happened to all those people that were inconvenienced when your boiler failed because it was a lesser quality boiler at end of life? How soon again would you like that failure to happen? Wouldn't you appreciate a longer life cycle, more reliable boiler, so you don't have to face that inconvenience of those tenants, those occupants, anytime soon? And he had three other ones that, frankly, I don't remember right now. But the point is that 4 days after sending that letter out of state, they decided to go with his proposal, which, by the way, had been sitting gathering dust on the shelf for about 4 months prior. So that's a great story to share with you, that when you really get serious, concise, and compelling, and you communicate reasonable facts to your people, it doesn't really matter where they're sitting.